Okay, thank you. What I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and move forward and continue with just an update in regards to a lot of questions are coming out in regards to what on earth is CalSavers. So I want to give you just an overview of what it is. We're not going to get too much into the weeds, if you would, because this is something you can just Google on your own. But I wanted to get to the last part, which is how FFS agents are getting into the small business market by leveraging the power of CalSavers. And so for those that don't know, CalSavers is a retirement savings program that's sponsored by the state of California, facilitated by businesses and funded by employee savings. And this is part of the mandate from Congress that said everybody has to have a retirement account. And so this is very unique because there are very important aspects of this that you can leverage as it relates to making sales in the small business world. And I'll show you how this ties into the small business opportunity in just 1 second. In a nutshell, what's really unique about this plan and the reason that it's so popular, just like it says here, it has no employer fees, meaning that an employer does not have to pay to implement this within their business and offer to their employees. There are no fiduciary responsibilities, meaning that the employers are not held responsible for any losses that take place or anything like that. They're just not responsible at all. And then minimal administrative upkeep. All that they have to do is basically manage the employees of when they come, enroll them, and when they leave as well. And so it's very, very simple. This is a payroll deduction type of plan that in its simplest form, what the government has said is that everybody has to have a Roth IRA. That's all that the CalSavers program is. No more, no less. And so again, California law requires employers who don't already offer retirement benefits to either enroll their employees in CalSavers or sponsor a qualified retirement plan. No small business wants to sponsor a retirement plan because it's just simply too expensive, too labor intensive, and a lot of fiduciary responsibilities that they just don't control. And so therefore, we've had a recent change that I'm going to talk about right now as to why the opportunity has gotten even better. If the state-run option is chosen, employees contribute to the plan via payroll deductions and can take their savings with them if they change jobs throughout their career, a feature commonly known as portability. Very, very important. Now, what businesses qualify for the California Retirement Savings Plan or CalSavers? Employers that have at least one full-time or part-time employee, which is basically every business in California. So this is a hard requirement. So if I'm a small business owner and I'm the only, and I pay myself as well, then guess what? I'm covered by this as well. It used to be 5 employees or more. It got reduced to just 1 employee or more, whether they're full-time or whether they are part-time. And this applies to both for-profit and nonprofit businesses as well. The only business that doesn't get covered by this basically is any business that already offers some type of retirement plan, whether it be a formal pension plan or an in-house 401k plan, some kind of legitimate retirement savings plan. Otherwise, the bulk of the state does not offer their employees anything, yet they are obligated to do so now as part of CalSavings. Is it mandatory for employers and employees? Participation in CalSavers is voluntary for employers. However, those who qualify but decline to join the program must sponsor a retirement plan through the private market or risk penalization. That's one of the key words that I need you to walk away with. Penalties. Penalties is one of those power words, power phrases that you're going to hear me mention at the end. CalSavers is optional for employees as well. And if enrolled by their employer, they may opt out at any time, which we're going to cover how we tap into this opportunity. Now, I'm not going to get too much into this, but I just wanted to real briefly, go over this because most of the deadlines are behind us. Employers with more than 100 employees, their deadline was 2020. Employees with 50 employees was in 2021, June 30th. And then we had the one for 5 or more, June 30th, 2022. And now we're down to with 1 to 4 employees, and that's December 31st of 2025. So we're using the 2025 deadline because they might have been affected by a deadline that already passed behind them. But when it comes to marketing, we really want to talk about the looming deadline. And then we can clarify that maybe you're already behind the 8 ball and you're in trouble basically because you haven't met the deadline. And so this is very, very important because again, this has to be documented and registered with the state. Now,
Right.
go ahead. If somebody has it, go ahead.
that include 1099s?
It has to be an employee. They're not employees. Employees, if they're full 1099, it does not cover them. They have to be W-2 employees.
All right.
All right, thank you. But great question. Any questions, interrupt me. Now, what type of retirement plans are available? CalSavers is available as a Roth IRA or individual retirement account. All that the entire CalSavers program talks about, or it really revolves, is the Roth. There are other variation. An option is available for CalSavers participants who want to recharacterize their account to a traditional IRA. With this type of plan, contributions are made pre-tax and are then taxed at the time of withdrawal. 99.99% of CalSavers, though, is nothing more than a Roth IRA. So what does that mean? That means that they're using after-tax dollars and the money comes out tax-free, which is not that earth-shattering. But what is earth-shattering is that they're forcing the contributions. Let me show you what I'm talking about right now. Are all employees eligible for the program? Well, technically, they have to be at least 18 years old, have an employee status under California law. So what that means is that if the company has any employees that are considered California residents, then it applies to them. Again, 18 years or older, have a source of income in a bank account, provide all personal information to administer the program, make an initial contribution as low as $10, which is recurring contribution are also available, which I'll show you how that works in just one second. In regards to what investment options are available, employees contribute to the CalSavers money market for 30 days following their enrollment, which is just a savings account, after which they have two options. They can either let their initial savings and all future investments automatically transition to a CalSavers target retirement fund based on their age and expected date of retirement, or they can customize their investment and choose from one of the following. So as you can see, there's different types of funds they can tap into and access. But one of the things that's happening in California, a lot of employees are simply opting out, which I'll cover at the end, because that's really the only people we can help at that point. Auto enrollment, and here's what you use to explain to small business owners. Employees who work for eligible employers are automatically enrolled into CalSavers at a default contribution rate of 5%, which increases 1% each year up to an 8% maximum. At any time, they can change their contribution level and rate of increase or opt out of the program altogether. So at any time, they can simply say, I don't even want to start. I just want to opt out. They can do that. And so it's really not as compulsory as they make it sound, because at any moment and any time, people can opt out. Now, this is where we come in. The reason that we come in with this number is because our agents that are helping small business owners, they are generating higher savings because they're using you can save up to 8%. They're not doing, how much can you afford? Well, $20 a week or $30 or whatever. They're going by percentages. Now, the maximum, if I start you and I was to ask you, you can save from 1% up to 8%, most people would say 1%, please. That's just the way human nature works. Having said that, if you say that you want to make sure you understand that we are saving to help you retire with dignity and on your terms, now the maximum for the program is 8%. Now, they can say 8%. Okay, that's about $150 to $200. But we also have a different program that doesn't have that cap. What do you think realistically, if we can show you more value, not just retirement, but let's just say life insurance, and we can also show you this and living benefits, what do you think you would want to do? Because the money's basically going to you. Well, I can maybe do 300. And the reason that I say that is because we as FFS, we cannot capture any of the CalSavers savings. We cannot do that. That's one. It's basically like the scholar share program, where the 529 plan, where one company manages the whole thing. We are not approved. Nobody else is approved to manage the actual CalSavers. So I'll come back to that here as I wrap it up. Very, very important. So here's just a few of what employers need to know about the CalSavers. This is for the employers. I went over that right there. Employers with at least one employee are required to register for CalSavers unless they meet one of the following exemptions. The employer already sponsors a qualified plan, which is what I was telling you. They have a 401k plan, a pension plan, whatever. The business was closed or sold. The company does not have any employees other than the owner, and the business classifies as a government entity, religious organization, or tribal organization. So if I'm talking to Joe Blow, the owner of the local corner store, or maybe I'm talking to the owner of the local dry cleaners, If you don't meet any of these four, it applies to you. And the reason that we need to start to put a lot of emphasis is because of the fact that they need to register with the state of California. And it's pretty simple. They need their EIN number, payroll tax number, and CalSavers access code. But most importantly, they need to know their responsibilities. Now, the reason we are emphasizing this is because what we're really doing, and I don't mean this in a salesmanship type of tactic, we're trying to show the employers this is a ton of work on your part. Even though it's not fiduciary, you're still responsible for the contributions. So what we're telling employers are this. Here's what we recommend you can also do. You can register for CalSavers, letting them know that you're registered and you met the requirement. Now your employees are going to simply opt out. And what we're going to do is show them something that gives them even more value. It could be a Roth. We can start a Roth just the way we can start a Roth for anybody else. We can start a traditional IRA. That's what they want to do, and their employer is okay with the deductions. We can start it just stick to IULs, and they have not just income for retirement, life insurance, and that it's not that it meets the requirements of CalSavers, but they opted out of CalSavers. That's the big deal. That's the simplicity. So what does all this mean? It just means that you're just letting the employers know of the following that I'm going to get into, which are primarily the penalties. This is where you don't want to mess around. As a business owner, let me tell you, if you're not compliant, once the state comes after you, and they will, you're going to be in trouble. California will serve failure to comply notices to any eligible employer who doesn't join CalSavers by the appointed deadline or offer a qualified retirement savings program independently. If the business fails to comply within 90 days from receiving this notification, the state will fine a $250 per employee. After 180 days, the penalty increases to $500 per employee. And so what you need to learn, what you need to really embody are power phrases or power words. Things like mandate. Are you aware of the looming deadline for the California CalSavers mandate? Now, are you compliant with the California CalSavers program? You know, it is mandatory. Now, are you aware of the upcoming deadline at the end of the year for the CalSavers program, at which time the penalties kick in? And so that's what you want to learn to explain to people. And if you need a way to do so, I'm going to email everybody our newest, oh, no, I'm sorry, the updated CalSavers flip chart, which is what you see here on the screen. That this is what the flip chart looks like. This is the old one, by the way. The new one has been updated, and I'll show you what we updated. It has a way of just showing you what CalSavers is all about. Here it says employees with 5 or more. That deadline passed. Right now, we're operating under the deadline for anybody who has 1 or more employees. So that's what the new one says, 1 or more. Companies with 1 or more must offer a plan or face a fine of $250 or $500 per eligible employee after 180 days of non-compliance. A lot of confusion, a lot of scared business owners because they don't want to get penalized and so what we do is we can come in and help you become compliant. The way we help them become compliant, 2 things you need to learn to do. Help them register with the state of California so that the clock stops running because they're registered. And then at that point, they simply opt out of the program unless they want to implement something themselves, which most businesses just do not have the time or the money, but they don't want to face the fines of the state either. And that's where this comes in. And so as you can see, it's a very simple flip chart. You can use it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop. And so what we're doing are 2 things. You're going to get an email tonight that's going to have a link to this very flip chart. It's online. You have to be connected to the internet in order for you to actually see the movement of the page on the flip chart. It's free. We're going to get it to everybody. If you have a Wizards paying account, if you're paying for a Wizards account, then what we're going to do, the last page will be customized with your name, your phone number, and your California life insurance license so that you can actually email it now to people or business owners. And when they flip through it, they can come back to you. And we actually have, for those that have a paid Wizards account, we have a small business landing page that we've already created for you that's going to feed into the whole robots where they go ahead and interact with them and do all that other good stuff so that you can have that as well. So if you don't need a Wizards, of course. If you don't have one, no big deal. You are going to just simply receive what I just showed you, which is all you need, a generic flip chart. For those that have a paying, not a paused billing, but an actual live account, We're going to customize it. You already have your own small business landing page, and that's where all the automations come into play as well. What I want to do at this point, I want to turn it over to you guys to see if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns before I let everybody go. Any
Quick
thoughts?
one, Javier. Quick one, Javier.
Hmm.
So, just so I have this straight, so we're showing them how to set up, then we're having the employees opt out, and then my question is, once they would start with something we have, whether it be an annuity or an IUL, does the owner have to report back to the state that the employees are now contributing to what we're doing, or do they not have to?
Great question. And the answer is no. All that we need to do is instead of saying setting them up, is we're having them register with the state, is what you're saying, obviously.
Yes.
And the second component is at that point, the employees opt out and there's nothing else left to report. Once an employee opts out, they've met the requirement.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up? And let
So,
you...
the employee has the opportunity or the option to opt out or not. Is that correct?
Correct. If they want to keep it, then they can go ahead and sign. For those that are familiar with the 529 or scholarship program, it's the exact same thing where one company manages a group of funds. And so what they're going to do now, most employers don't like the employees to do that because of the simple fact that they have to manage the program as a whole. But
Oh,
yeah, if they want to keep it, they can keep it. Most business owners want nothing to do with it.
okay, got it.
All right. And so what does it mean? It's not bait and switch, but it almost is because we're leading with the CalSavers program only to tell them one of your options is to just opt out of it and give you something you don't even have to deal with. Because over here, the programs we're going to put your employees on, they're going to be they're going to be 100% deducted from their checking accounts. If they ever leave, they take it with them. You don't have to deal anything, report to the state, nothing, nothing. But you'll be considered fully compliant, not because they joined us, but because they opted out. They registered and opted out with the state as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything
Yeah,
at
you
all?
mentioned the IRA option, payroll deduction.
Yes, and that's where it gets a little messy. So what the state told the employers, you have minimal involvement, is what they call it, minimal. Because as you guys know, for a truly qualified program, it has to be payroll deducted. And so there is more legwork, a lot of legwork, to be honest with you, for a typical employer, even though they don't have a fiduciary responsibility. I mean, they're not held accountable for choosing the right funds or the market lost money. It's still a pain in the neck for employers, and they just simply don't like it at all. And so what we're selling them on is just letting them know, why don't you just get out of the whole financial services business and focus on nothing more than whatever it is, widgets that you make or services you provide. And we can go ahead and handle this. And we will never even bug you because this is all going to be handled between the actual employee and the company, which is us that manage it, whether it be Columbus or whatever the case might be.
Got it.
Javier,
Yes, go ahead.
with Anico out of the life business now, are they still doing the 401k where we can set
No.
up the 401k? No, they're not doing it anymore,
They're
right?
not doing, they're out of that whole business. We also lost our ability because what we used to do with Anico is that they offered us list billing. If you guys remember that, and we have businesses we set up, and list billing simply said that we go into a business as part of CalSavers, and there's 10 employees who want an IUL. And so what Anico would say, tell you what, every employee wants to save what, $200? Yes. So that's 10 employees. Yes. That's 2,000. Yes. The employer would, it was not tax deductible, not qualified, but they would take the money from each employee's check, and then the Anico would just simply the company would send the $2,000 as part of a list bill to Anico, and it was handled in that group. We lost that ability to do that, which in the long run, employers didn't like that because when every time an employee would leave, it would create a headache, I should say, for the employer. This one's better because if somebody leaves, they don't skip a beat because whether they keep it or not, it's not going to affect the books where they used to work at.
Oh.
All right.
Javier,
Go ahead, please.
is the penalty like one time?
Yes. So the way it is that there's two things. We've read it, and we actually spoke to somebody from CalSavers saying that until the state revisits or serves them with the paperwork, then it would get doubled at that. Because we're trying to find out what the pain points are. Is it compounding? Is it weekly? Is it monthly until they comply? And so as of right now, the way it's written, it would be a one-time per employee But they're saying that if so much time goes, and I haven't found it in writing, but CalSavers told us that if so much time goes by and they come back to the business and they still haven't complied, then they're gonna get hit again with the $500 one because it's after the 180 days or whatever it might be. But even so, they are going to be on the radar, and no business wants to deal with the state when it comes to penalties at all.
Okay.
And
Great.
so if an employer wants to contribute or match or anything, they'll just bonus them out, basically.
Pretty much. Correct.
Okay.
That's a short way to put it. Correct. And like I said, we are looking for primarily, thankfully, what 97% of the businesses are small businesses, tiny businesses. And the state now, our last deadline, we've been doing this for years, guys. Just so you guys know, this is not new. As you see that slide or the flip chart is old because we were before pushing the 5-employee deadline. That one passed. So now we're down to the last and final one, which is at the end of this year for anybody that has 1 to 4 employees or 1 or more that hasn't complied. So it covers everybody. Everybody. And like I said, you saw the slide that talked about where exception if it's the employee and nobody has it. If the employee is taking a salary from that same business, then they do trigger the requirement for themselves. And so again, even if they just simply opt out of it, they register. That's very important.
Yeah.
They register. And even if they opt out at that point, they're fine. They're in compliance because they opted out. So it's not mandatory as in you shall do it. You shall register is technically the way it's written. And they would like for everybody to do it. But then again, when it comes to most people don't want the state involved in their retirement or financial planning, and that's just the way it is. It works against them. All right. Perfect. Well, hey,
Javier, question. Just does this apply to part-time employees as well?
yes. It doesn't matter if they're part-time. It doesn't matter if they're full-time. If they are, the only hard requirement is they have to be a California-based employee. So it could be a Nevada corporation, but they have one single employee here in California, then they fall under it. As long as that one employee, whether it be part-time or full-time, is based out of California, then it does apply to them at that point. So that's a very, very good question.
And lastly, for me, so that means the employer, once they're registered, they can opt out after they.
100%. Once they're registered, yeah, they're going to have to do that for the actual employees,
Right.
but they can opt out at that point, and now they're fully compliant. So it's scary, but it's not that hard to do. To just simply have them register and then they opt out, they can do that.
Well, they've complied with the mandate, so
That's it. So that's what I'm saying. It's not as drastic as it sounds, but it sounds horrible, which is great for marketing. And I'm telling you, a lot of our people have generated. And the reason that we're bringing this up now is because we bring it out or we highlight it more as we get ready for the summer. For those that are interested in staying busy throughout the summer when the schools are letting out, this is the time to brush up on this stuff. That's why we're updating the new flip chart. We've been doing this for years and years and years. And one of the best deals I got from a door knock was with the CPA firm going through this, and we ended up with a $282,000 rollover from somebody who just in the process came up with an old 401k that she had been laid off, and it was just sitting there, and it turned into a great thing. So there's a lot of business and income to be made as long as you are informed and you bring value to people. And one of the things that, again, is very hot right now is the fear of not being non-compliant and triggering the fines, which nobody wants to deal with. And at any point, anybody can call the state or Google it, and they'll see that, yes, there is a state mandate that you better fall into place, or you're going to start paying penalties per employee. And that's what the key thing. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you got the info. If anybody needs the info for Sam, I'm going to put it back up just one last time. Do me a favor and just go ahead and take a picture of this so that you have it somewhere. And there it is. That's what's called. Now, can anybody tell me if it works? Is this code working?
it does work. If you scan it right now, it works right away.
Okay. It should give you his contact info, his personal cell phone. I told him not to put the office number for his office number, at least, because you don't want to call him. You want to call him on the cell phone. And going back to what Monica was saying, this is for Rhett. I don't know. I think Rhett might have left. I don't know, but Rhett was here earlier. Oh no, he's there. And so this is Rhett for you. That you can give them a call and they will activate you again so that you can start running the illustrations. I actually have 2 to run tomorrow. I got to meet with the teacher who's out of for spring break, so I'm going to go visit her at her home. But I want to make sure that I do this one with Columbus, and so they're doing that with me, reactivating me because I'm with you. I'm like, how the hell am I going to run an illustration if I can't log in? And there's your answer right there. And so, like I said,
call Sam directly, Javier.
Yes, call him directly. Sam.
All right.
And he's really good at answering. Leave a message or text him or whatever, but he's really, really good at communication as well. Hey, everybody, I just want to say thank you for all that everyone does. I really appreciate you. I love you to death. And I think that I just can't wait to see how all that we are doing right now is going to continue to compound. Every week, we're celebrating new milestones, new people making more money, more of our clients being provided with what they need. And it's all because of everybody here. Perfect, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody. Have a wonderful night.